Hi, everybody. My name is Patty Gallison, and Ken asked me if I would share my testimony with you. I am a wife of 32 years, a mom of four adult sons, and a nana to six beautiful littles, ages 3 months old up to 5.5. And I'm a kindergarten teacher. I also lead a first place group at my church. I'm Christian Ed director at my church, and my husband and I are very active in marriage ministry. So, as you can surmise, I have a very full and blessed life. And many of you may have heard my testimony before. If you've been to wellness workshop we had up here in Maine, or I spoke and shared my testimony at one that Ken had before, you may have heard my testimony before. And many of you have become dear friends as a result. And I just realized I need to set this timer because I talk too much. And so what I really want to focus on is what God has done most recently in my life. To give you a little bit of background, I've been overweight most of my life. Ever since puberty, I've been overweight. I always thought of myself being the oldest of four sisters, that people looked at me and thought, that's Patty, she's the fat one. And so I went into adulthood with a lot of self-doubt, a lot of bad habits around food. I was a victim of childhood sexual abuse by two stepfathers, and was also abandoned by my own father. And so I went into adulthood with a lot of stuff. And I dealt with a lot of that stuff by eating. I learned to cope with food. If I was sad, I went to food. If I was stressed, I went to food. I had a bad day, I deserved this candy bar and soda or whatever it was. And so I really had a real problem with emotional eating and with binge eating. And as an adult, I tried every diet. I did the Richard Simmons Deal a Meal thing. I tried it all. And it wasn't until First Place came along that I experienced real success. And a friend started a First Place for Health group at our church. She had wintered in Florida, and the church she attended had a First Place group. And so she brought that back to our church when she came home for the summer. At that time, we were very financially strapped and had little children, and my friend knew that I really wanted to do this and I couldn't afford it. And so she came to me and she gifted me with the books and the startup fee and everything. So I was able to do that. And what a gift she gave me. I don't think she had any idea how she was going to change my life. And I was very successful. I was all in. And in the first year, I lost 60 pounds. It was the first time in my life I had ever been successful, really successful at losing weight, because it wasn't just about the food. It wasn't about just what I was eating. It was about putting Christ first in all areas of my life. And that's what sets First Place apart. And that's what made the difference for me. And then I found out I was expecting our fourth son. And so I stepped aside for a little bit. And when I was ready to go back, the group had dissolved. And I was very disappointed in that because I knew that First Place was what worked for me. And so I tried different things. At various times, I ordered First Place Bible studies online, bought them at my local Christian bookstore and so on, and did it on my own, and would be successful again to some extent, but I was really missing that accountability piece of being with that group. And so fast forward some years, I'm really feeling frustrated. I've gained the weight back. I'm getting older. And I kept talking to my husband about how I wish there was a First Place group. He'd even gone to Weight Watchers with me to try that with me. And he said, well, why don't you start one? And so I visited with the elders of our church, and they gave me the go-ahead to do that. And so I started a First Place for Health group at our church. And it has been a totally life-changing experience, not just for me, but for the other ladies in the group. It has, I have about a 50-pound weight loss. Obviously, I'm not, you can see me, I'm not at my goal. I would like to lose another 40 to 50 pounds. But the biggest thing that has happened is what God has done on the inside of me that you can't see, but it transforms the outside. And that's what I really want to share with you. And one of the big things is that I'm no longer an emotional eater. I no longer binge. And I'm at a season of life where that could be really easy to fall back into. We are empty nesters. Our children are all grown. My husband and I, for this season, are needing to work opposite shifts because of the job he currently has. So I'm alone in the evenings. And the temptation to eat because I'm bored and I'm lonely and so on is there. But I have prayed about it so much. I've asked other people to pray about it. And God has really equipped me with some strategies that help me in the evening so that I don't undo what I have done during the day and that I can continue to honor him by with what I know and giving food its right place and putting him first. And so he really has made this season easier for me in that way at a time when it really could be hard. And being a teacher, my school shut down in March. And so this really could have been a very challenging season. I wish I could say that it was a season that I just attacked fitness even more and I lost all kinds of weight during the season. That's not the case. But it also wasn't a season where I sat around and ate cookies and gained either. And so I'm thankful for that God helped me to persevere through a season that held a lot of emotions and stress. One of the things that God has done for me is in the area of exercise. I love to worship. I absolutely love to worship. I love worship music. Some of you can probably relate when I say that Sunday morning singing worship at church, my heart is just so full. Singing worship songs in my car on the way to work. I just love to worship our God. He has done so much for me. He's saved me. And there is just nothing like worshiping him. And at some point in the last couple of years, he helped me to see that taking care of my body is a way of worshiping him. Exercise is a form of worship. I don't love exercise. I sweat. I'd rather sit on the couch and read a book or watch a Hallmark movie. And yet, he helped me to see that I can worship him through exercise. And so then my whole attitude about exercise changed. It no longer became something I have to do to make my goals, but it became something I get to do as part of my worship to the God that I love. And as part of that, I've done some things lately that were really out of my comfort zone. So last fall, I climbed a mountain. I like to hike, and I've hiked quite a bit before, but I had never climbed a mountain like this one. It was long and it was hard. It was pretty fierce. And I did it because of him, because of the work he's done in my body. He has strengthened and equipped me. I'm healthier than I've ever been. And he helped me to persevere when it got hard. I was with a group of other ladies from my church, and it was just amazing. Along the way, I picked up this acorn because I wanted to have a reminder of how God helps me to do the hard things. And he equips me and he strengthens me to do the hard things. And I took this to school the next day to show my students because I asked them to do hard things at times. And I wanted to share with them that even adults have to do hard things at times, but we push through and we're able to do them. And that God helped me to do a hard thing. And so when I reached the top of that mountain, I had this picture taken. I was pretty emotional because I was so thankful and grateful to God for what he has made my body able to do, what he's equipped me to do. And so I was just praising him and giving him all the honor and glory that I had been able to do that. I still had to get back down the mountain, and that was pretty challenging, but I did it. And God just strengthened me and enabled me to do something really hard. And then another thing that is an outward expression of what God has done in my life lately is that this summer, I decided I really needed to add some strength training to what I was doing. I had the food plan. I know that food plan back and forth. I do cardio, I walk, I get on the treadmill, I do videos, but I really wasn't doing much for strength training. And I knew that as a woman who's just turned 50 and as I age, that's an important piece. And I know that it helps with metabolism. And being a woman at 50, every pound comes off harder than it ever has before. And some of you women may be able to relate. So I decided to sign up with a personal trainer at a local gym. So far out of my comfort zone. I didn't tell anyone I was going to do it. I almost chickened out. I'd made this appointment and I almost canceled because I just thought, I'm going to go in there and this guy is going to see me coming and he's going to be like, what is this fat girl doing here? And, but I got up that morning and I just thought, nope, I have committed this to God and I can do this because it doesn't matter what anyone else thinks. I want to take care of this temple and I want to honor God in all ways and in all areas of my life. So I can do this and he's going to help me. And you know what? It was a wonderful experience. This personal trainer was a young man. Well, I could be his mom. And, but he was so kind and so helpful, very knowledgeable, very encouraging. He was just my cheerleader. I did 5 sessions with him and he taught me how to use the equipment. Taught me about different muscles and why we do different things that we do and why we need to do different things. And it was really a great experience. And I was very thankful for that. And then he set me up on a program so I could continue on my own. And so I just was so thankful for God pushing me out of my comfort zone in that way as well. And I wanted to share too my why. We all have a why for doing this. My biggest why is because I do want to honor God in all areas of my life. But this is also my why. I'm not sure how well you guys can see that, but that's my family. At our youngest son's wedding this summer, just a little over a month ago. And they're part of my why. I want my grandchildren to learn now about honoring God with their bodies by taking care of themselves, by just so many different ways. I want to be a testimony to them. My grandchildren have already learned that Nana likes to exercise. Who would have thought that I would like to exercise? But they think I do. They don't know what goes on in my mind to get there. They know that when they visit Nana or I visit them, that we go for walks. They know that Nana does exercise videos and they love to jump up and down and do exercise videos with me. They know that Nana gets on a treadmill. Last week, our son sent us a video and he and his family live in Tennessee and our grandchildren had turned their plastic slide upside down and they were pretending it was the treadmill. And they said they were exercising like Nana. I can't even tell you what that did for me. I was like, praise God. Thank you, God, that I can be a testimony to them in this area. Who'd have thought Patty the fat girl, the fat sister, could be a testimony to her grandchildren about taking care of her body, honoring God in this way. I'm just so thankful to God for what he's done in my body. And I want to end with this. And I'm going to try to share my screen and show you this first. I'm not very good at this, so if I don't get it right, I guess I'm not going to get it right. So I'm just going to read you the verse because I can't figure out how to share my screen to show you. But it's John 16:33, and it says, I've told you these things so that in me you may have peace. When I thought about this verse the other day, I thought we could change the word peace to balance. We could have balance in him because we talk about balance so much in first place. And that's really what it's about for me. I was so unbalanced before. In this world, you will have trouble, but take heart, exclamation mark, as I would tell my kindergartners. But take heart. He's reassuring us. I have overcome the world. So what I challenge you to do is take a piece of paper, or mine is a whiteboard, and it says, but take heart, I have overcome. I want you to think about, what has he overcome for you? And for me, going into this, I had all kinds of doubts. I almost called Ken and canceled. Said, you need to get someone else. I'm not the person to do this. I'm not good enough. I'm not, what do I have to share? But take heart, I've overcome your doubts, your shame, your failures. What's he overcome for you today? He's overcome all these, my doubts, my shame, my failures, even just today. He's overcome all of those for me. But take heart, I have overcome. Fill in the blank. What's he overcome in your life? As I said, going into this, I had some doubts and some anxiety really about doing this. I'm a teacher. This is a really hard time to be in education. And I have struggled since school started about 5 weeks ago. With all the COVID stuff, school is really hard. I love teaching. It's at my heart of who I am, but it's really a challenge right now. And it's exhausting. And I found myself struggling with keeping my tracker, struggling to exercise, and just struggling with being mindful of what I'm eating and doing. And so I've started to have some doubts, and I've had to battle those doubts and fear that I'll lose control and I'll just be right back where I was those 50 pounds ago. The old thinking, the old ways. And this summer at Summit, Grace Fox asked this question, and I keep coming back to this. When those things enter my mind, this is what I come back to. What aspect of God's character am I doubting? And when those things come into my mind, I have to ask myself that, because what I know about God puts those doubts and those fears right away. He has overcome so much in my life. He has made me an overcomer. He has equipped me to serve him in so many different ways in this life that he has blessed me with. And I'm so thankful for all that he has done and all the ways he's growing me. I'm not there yet, but I have no doubt that he's still going to keep growing me, and I'll get there. And I thank all of you who have been an encouragement to me and have become dear friends. Take care, everyone, and thank you for listening.